Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for our webinar today, which is the Empower Loan Application Walkthrough. My name is Sagar. I have been with Empower for almost 4 years now, and I'm a part of the marketing team. And yeah, that's about it. I love helping international students. I have spoken to more than 100 international students personally so far in my 4 years. So that's about me. And I'll now move on to Renuka. If you could introduce yourself to our audience today.
Thanks, Sagar. Hello, everyone. It's an absolute pleasure to join this session today. Myself, Renuka, Senior Underwriting Analyst in Power Financing. And as always, it's been more than 3.5 years now. And I've been actively contributing to our mission, both individually and alongside my dedicated team. To mention, I'm not an international student myself, but I have had privileges of insights and from my experiences and stories of many internationals students through my work. I'm really looking forward to connecting with all of you today.
Cool. Thank you so much. And over to you, Surabhi.
Hey, thanks, Sagar. Hi, everyone. It's good to be back, and it's always wonderful to connect with new incoming talents for international studies. So, myself, Suryaveer Singh Rathod, I'm being with Empower for almost 4 years. I started my career with Empower as a relationship manager, and I'm currently team lead in customer relations. So, I am pretty well aware about all your concerns and queries that are going to pop up in today's webinar. So just hold back, sit tight. Today is going to be a very detailed session. We are going to make sure that all your concerns are being answered properly. And we have some experts on the board today who would be assisting you with your various concerns and queries as well. So thanks everyone for joining.
Cool. Thank you so much. Now, moving on to the first section of our session today, which is who is Empower? What do we do? So, Empower is an organization built by international students for international students. And the reason we say that is our co-founders, Manu and Mike. Both of them were international students themselves. One of them being a DACA student, and then Manu has been an international student twice, both for his undergrad and his postgrad both. So these international students, they came together, they realized that there's an on-ground challenge where a lot of students had to drop out of their education because they were lacking funds as low as $500. So someone could not complete their education because they did not have $500 to pay the tuition bills. So that is where Empower came in. That is where Empower came in as a product that wanted to help a lot of prospective international students and remove any kind of funding barriers. So when we say we want to remove these funding barriers, how do we do it? So we do exist to help international students and succeed in the US. And how do we do it? Who is Empower? Why do we exist? This is what we are about to answer. So first, how do we help international students? How do we enable access to financial finances for their higher education? The first is we never ever require a collateral or a cosign. A collateral is some form of mortgage or a security that you need to keep with the finance, or that you need to keep with your lender in order to uh, basically get a loan or get any kind of money or any kind of funds. So we do not ask for it ever. A co-signer is a guarantor or a co-applicant that is usually liable. He or she would be liable to repay the loan if you fail to repay the loan. So we do not even ask for a co-applicant or a co-signer. The reason being, we believe in your future potential, and we do not believe in your parents or your family or your friends' financial status or anything like that. We believe in your future potential, and we take a bet on you, and which is the reason we do not require a cosigner or a collateral. So that is the number one piece or number one feature of our product that enables more students to plan their higher education and fund their studies abroad. Second is we offer fixed rate of interest. There is absolutely no other organization on this planet that gives out a fixed rate of loan without a cosigner or a collateral. Empower is the only organization that gives out unsecured loans at a fixed interest rate. What that means is once you're approved for a loan, at the time of approval, you would also get a certain rate of interest mentioned. That rate of interest will never go up. It will only go down once you sign up for auto pay, but that's not going to change at all. So what that does is it gives you that peace of mind that once you're approved for the loan, you would know at that very moment what your repayment would look like. and what your interest rate would look like. So irrespective of the market conditions changing, the global geopolitical scenarios changing, it would not hurt your repayments and your loan balances. So it gives a lot of peace of mind, especially as a student, where you need to focus on your education rather than focusing on the repayment piece or rather than focusing on the market conditions. So which is why this also adds to a lot of advantage to anyone who's taking a loan from MPOWER. And then third, we give out loans in US dollars. What that does is it helps a lot of students save some money when they're transferring the funds from their home country to US. And what happens is you do not incur any kind of exchange fee, no currency exchange, forex fee, anything like that. And additionally, it also saves you a lot of hassle. The reason being, we give out the loans directly to the schools. So that saves a lot of headache for you, where you do not have to worry about the money being moved here and there. And we work with the school to ensure that they receive the funds for your admission. So like that is one of the third feature that we have. And with these three features, we believe our product stands out compared to all other traditional lenders in the market. And it caters to more international students who would not have thought about pursuing an international education prior if MPOWER did not exist. So which is why we believe we are genuinely enabling more access to finances for higher education. Now, having said that, we genuinely believe that we are more than just a lender. And why do we say that? Is on the following slide. Cool. So here you see the top three programs that we have to help our international students. The first one being a referral program, where we give out referral rewards to anyone who is referring students to take out a loan from MPOWER. Absolutely anyone can be a part of this program. You do not have to be an MPOWER customer to be a part of this program. How to use this program or how to be a part of this? You just need to go on the Refer a Friend page. One of our chat moderators would have dropped in the link. Just go to the Refer a Friend page, create your unique referral link, and make sure that you share your referral link with your friends who want an MPOWER loan. Once the friend that you refer, once they accept all MPOWER loan terms, and once they receive and upload a valid visa document on the MPOWER application, that is when you qualify for the $300 reward. And we give out $300. There are multiple options to choose from. So we give out these rewards to the one person that is referring. And on the other hand, the applicant who is applying using your referral link, they also receive a $100 reward once the loan is dispersed. So it's a win-win situation for both you and your friends. So please make sure that you make the most of it and create your referral link today and share it with your friends. Secondly, we have a scholarships program where we offer merit-based scholarships to anyone and everyone who is applying for the scholarship. Again, you do not have to be an MPOWER customer to apply for a scholarship or to be eligible for a scholarship. There are different eligibility criteria, but you do not have to be an MPOWER customer. So please make sure that you apply to as many scholarships as possible. This is free money. So please make sure that you apply to as many of them as you can to. And one of our chat moderators would have dropped the link to the same. And then third, this is where our path to success comes in. So we bet on the student's future potential, which is why we can only be successful if the student is successful. MPOWER as an organization can only be successful if the students that MPOWER is funding are successful. And how do we do that? We ensure that the success piece, or we push the success piece using our Path to Success program, which is like a career development program for all international students. Sorry, my bad. And what we offer here is free visa courses. So once you are approved for a loan, you'll get access to a free course for a visa interview prep and your visa application preparations. So that helps you remove the barrier of getting a visa application. And additionally, we also offer a lot of career boot camps. We offer free access to paid tools and a bunch of other services that our students can use to eventually succeed as an international student in the US. So that was about it. And with this, now we'll move on to the second section, which is the student journey, return on investment. And I'd like to call on Renuka. If you could, yeah, over to you.
Yeah. Thanks, Sagar. Thanks for highlighting many information that was really helpful. And thanks for your question also. I'll be covering return on investment, like taking a loan and what is the investment call and what is the return on it, and also the timelines. As I say, many of the rewards were for actually for fall 25 applications. So let's dive into an example. I would like to take few minutes to demonstrate the benefits of focusing on your career development. So Asha's journey, meet Asha, who is a junior data analyst based in Bangalore, India. While she's making a decent living with an annual salary of around 7,000 USD, which is approximately or 6 lakhs Indian rupees, she dreams of doing bigger and more exciting things in her career. Despite her efforts, she finds limited opportunity domestically to bridge that professional gap and advance her career significantly. Now she has two paths ahead. Either she stays in the same company, she could continue working at the current company, expecting her salary to be doubled around 14,000 USD, which could be your 12 lakhs INR within the next few years, or pursue further education. Alternatively, Asha could invest a year in studying, saving, and applying to graduate school in the US, aiming to gain advanced skills and international experience to accelerate her career growth. Can we move to the next slide, please? Yep. Now she dedicates herself for researching, prepping for studying abroad. She diligently works on her applications, arranges her finances, complete all necessary visa documentation. After all this, her hard work pays off, and she is admitted, let's suppose, to a University of Chicago, which is a graduate school to pursue Master of Science in Computer Science, with the savings and scholarship of 15,000 USD. And she takes out a 40,000 USD student loan to cover the remaining tuition and expenses. The significant step marks the beginning of an exciting new chapter in her journey. Now, the question is, how does she benefit from pursuing an international education? Maybe she started the course in around 2022. 2 years later, in 2025, she graduates and qualifies for optional practical training, which is OPT, and that is about her graduation and work authorization. With OPT work authorization, she accepts a job offer as computer system engineer in Chicago, and her starting salary is 97,000 USD, which is equivalent to your 80 lakhs Indian rupees, a remarkable increase from her initial salary in Bangalore. And this is all leading to securing a high paying job. Her salary has just increased by 10x compared to her earnings in India. This rapid growth happened just within 2 to 3 years of her taking the bold step to study abroad. Exponential salary growth for sure. Now she's earning the average salary of a field with her qualifications. She begins working towards earning a permanent residency in the US, further securing her career and future. Now, so when I quote again, return on investment, the investment of 40,000 USD in a student loan for her education has proven to be a strategic move. The significant increase in her salary confirms the high return on investment, taking the risk to study abroad. Now, when I say the key takeaways from here is you're focusing on developing your career through well-researched and desired program can lead to substantial financial and professional rewards. Pursuing an education in the US can obviously exponentially increase your salary and career growth. Now let's talk about the timelines from start to end point. Now, if an international student wants to apply for fall 25, which I mentioned, majorly your applications were for fall 25, their deadlines are actually near the end of the year, which was October, November, and December last year. To know the program, the loan application, and the visa documentation, we all know they aren't on the same timeline. So all stages have their own deadlines, and you should begin each process as soon as possible. Make it consecutive. So let's start the journey from the timelines in the slides. So first stage, there's a lot of resistance and thought that goes from you guys onto planning to study abroad. And you will always think of financial burdens that comes when moving out of your own home country. This is the plan in making. Before you start applying, selection of course, what kind of profession you would want to move ahead with, You guys would always want to make use and look for the best education system and best journey to move to US and Canada. After all of this, you guys starts to apply for the school. That happens in which I mentioned October, November, December, which happens here. It's like a lot of waiting game. A lot of people apply. They apply for the most sought after education destination. And second bracket of month is January to April, which is this year. Acceptance, receiving letter starts to happen. Now the plan is you start shopping around. We suggest you start your Empower application as soon as you receive your admission letter. You're guaranteed to hear by March, April, but you will likely receive a decision earlier. Empower starts the process. We go through the eligibility checks, how your future potential looks like based on which school and education you have applied for, how much is required to complete your education, that is your cost of attendance. Then we come back to the student in 5 to 7 calendar days, but this stat has really gone down to your 4 to 5 business calendar days, provided all your documents are in place. Approval letters from Empower starts to roll out to the student. Student can now apply for I-20 in schools with our support letters. There was one question regarding the same. Yes, our support letters can be used for I-20, and then further you can utilize it. Once you receive the I-20, you can sit for your visa interviews. I'll be covering that portion too. So May and July is the timeline. Financial support letters from us, I-20 from US school. Student obviously sits for the visa interviews. This one is last because you need I-20 in the US and financial support letter. Clear your interviews, get a visa document, and in August and September, mid-September, Empower disperses to school as student fly to US. Looking at this journey, I'm sure one thing is for sure, that is planning starts much before, and your success will begin when you start planning early. This marks the beginning of your path forward, outlining the journey from start to finish for the application. Yep. Thanks, and over to you, Sagar.
Over to you, Surya.
Yeah, Sagar, thanks for giving me this up. So, hi everyone. Once again, let me just quickly share my screen and then we'll go with the application journey. Before we begin with the application journey, there are a couple of things that we need to understand, which is the eligibility criteria. Now, we are always trying to enhance our user experiences and our student application journey experience. And with that, we are also trying to include more and more possible schools in our partnership so that more applicants can be the part of the loan journey. Now, for now, we are almost touching 500 schools in US and Canada together. So there are a couple of eligibility criteria that you guys need to be aware about that. If you are planning for international education in US or Canada, and if you would like to go forward with an Empower loan, one of the eligibility criteria is that you should be enrolled or planning to take admission in one of our eligible school. So if you are enrolling in one of our eligible school, then you would be considered as eligible, keeping the other two eligibility criterias with that. The second one is that, so from the day when you are joining or starting your program should be within 2 years of graduation. So one of the important eligibility criteria here is that if you are planning to do a master program, most of the master programs are considered eligible because they do get completed within 2 years timeline. But for example, if you are seeking a bachelor program right now, and that means that you would have 4 years to complete your program. So in that circumstances, we may not be able to assist you initially, but when you would be in your final 2 years, definitely you can apply for your education loan. So this same logic applies to everywhere, where if you are doing even a master program, which is of 2.5 or more than 2 years, then you would be eligible to apply for an Empower loan within the last 2 years of your graduation. As the third point says that it should be a degree seeking program. So whatever program you are planning to start, it should be having a degree seeking or a full-time program as well. Now, before we proceed, once you have done the basic eligibility check, then only the application journey begins. So let me walk you through the major 5 steps process of the application journey. So the first step is to do the eligibility check. So once you have done that, and if you are eligible, you would be asked to consider and submit the remaining information. So the second step goes with the basic information, where we would be asking you about your name, your address, and your basic details. The third section is school and employment. So we would like to understand more about the program you are planning to begin with, the university, and if you have given any kind of exams to get enrolled, and if you have any kind of employment history in past. The fourth section is the financial section, so I will definitely go and have a detailed discussions on this. And the fifth and the last section is once your entire application has been submitted, is to provide us a valid ID so that we can verify the same and proceed further. So in short, these are the 5 major important steps when we speak about an application journey. Now, beginning with the first eligibility check criteria is that once you click on our website that start a new loan application, this is what you would be seeing on your screen. We would be asking you regarding your preferred first name, your legal first name and last name. You would need to enroll or you would need to register your primary email address with us, which you believe that is going to be the email which is going to be for your lifetime. So a couple of important informations here is that a lot of times students do submit their application using a university email address, which they have. Now, the problem with that email address is that since or at the time you are with the university, that email will be valid till that time only. So once you have completed your graduation or you depart from the university, so that email address becomes null and void in future. So it's always recommended to provide us your personal verified email address so that you do not have to go with any kind of hassle in future regarding communication to you regarding your loan details. But you can always provide your university email address as an alternative email address that will be coming up in the later stages. Now, once you have provided this, we would be asking you these questions. Now, what is important to understand here is that what brings you to Empower? Now, if you are a person who has just been thinking about studying in US or Canada, but you have not identified any kind of program or school, so you can select the first option. Now, the second option is for the ones who have applied to some of the dedicated schools they are planning for, but they have not yet received their admission letters or any kind of acceptance from these university. The second options belong to you guys. Now, if you have already been accepted to a school but haven't enrolled, meaning you have received the admission letter, so the third option is for those students. Now, the fourth option is quite similar and quite easily understandable, which is if you are already enrolled to one of the school that you are or you were planning for, you would need to select the fourth. Now, the fifth option is for those students who are transfer students. So, for example, you are in a program where one of your semester or one of your graduation year you have completed with your home country, but the remaining part of your program is to be completed with your international school. So you would be considered as a transfer student, and that would be the option you need to select. Now, once you have selected the best suitable options according to your requirement, we would ask you to provide us with your university that you are planning for. So we recommend you to type the name of the university and you would be able to see it on the drop down if you are a part of the eligible school or not. Now, once you have provided that detail, we would like to understand about the campus you would be attending, because there are certain situations where we may not be able to, or we may not be supporting all the campuses of that specific university. So you would need to provide us the campus that you are planning to support so that we are more clear about the eligibility criteria here. Once these details have been provided, we would like to understand what kind of degree you are seeking. Is it a master, bachelor's, PhD, DDS, bootcamp programs, or any kind of certificate programs? Now, once that is done, we would then ask you regarding what is your expected graduation date. Now, what you see on the screen is the anticipated graduation date. So if you do not know the exact date when you are going to uh, complete your education, you can provide us the month and the year where you seem that would be completed. And we are also asking you regarding your program start date here. One thing to understand here while you're submitting this application, that if you are sure that your program is within 2 years, then your start date and end date should also resemble the same. So there are certain occurrences where the applicants submit a wrong start date and provide us a wrong graduation date, which hinders their application process, and they are not, given the opportunity to continue with the application process. So if you are aware about the start date and the end date of your programs, kindly select the right suitable dates while you're submitting this eligibility check. Once that is done, we would like to ask you about where you have heard about us. So this is a very important information because if you have been referred by a friend, meaning you have an earning opportunity at beginning before you start your application, right? So if you have been coming with any kind of online research or any other medium, please do select that option. If you have been referred by a friend, select the refer a friend option and you can provide us the referral code from where you have been referred. Then we would like to understand what is your current citizenship, meaning from which country you belong from. We at MPOWER also support DACA students, permanent resident, and asylum seekers as well, as you can see on the note below. Now, once this is done, then the last check before we complete the eligibility is that you agree the term and conditions and you are providing us the consent to proceed further with your loan application. Once this is done, we would be checking your eligibility. And then if you are eligible, this is what you would see on the screen, meaning now we are beginning with the application submission process where you are considered as eligible. And now you would need to provide us all the relevant remaining details to strong your application so that we can further review it and provide with a loan decision. Now, initially what you see here is regarding the legal names that are available or mentioned in the document that you are going to provide. So followed by the salutation that you would like us to consider or greet you from. So after that, you will need to provide us again the email address which you have already used and the automative or the additional email that you believe that shall be available in case if your personal email is not something that you are not able to get any kind of emails over there. So you can also provide us with an additional email. Then we would like to understand your country number so that we can reach you out over call if it is required in any kind of communication regarding your loan application. We do also have WhatsApp facility. So if you are fine with us contacting you on WhatsApp, you can select yes. If you do not want us to reach you out over WhatsApp, you can select no. Then we would like to know your date of birth and then proceeding further with the further details about your citizenship country, meaning, so for example, here you can see the example that the applicant has selected India. Now we would like to understand from which part of India the applicant comes from. So we would like to understand your permanent residence address. So permanent address are always the one where you belong from or where is your residential house. Now, a lot of students have asked us in past that I currently do not own any house and I stay with my parents. So it's absolutely fine. You can provide us the address where you are staying with your parents. And later on, we'll speak about what documents would be needed in order to verify the same. Now, moving further, we would like to understand if you have any kind of mailing address. We are going to skip this part because it's depending on which kind of topics or the drop downs you have selected in the application journey. We would like to understand if you have any kind of immigration status for Canada, and then proceeding further, if you have any kind of social security number or not. So now moving further, if you would like to provide us with your references. Now, important thing to understand here that when we are speaking about reference, it does not mean that they would be liable for any kind of repayment of your loan. The reference that we are collecting here is just an information purpose, and we are going to communicate to your reference only when if you are not reachable, and we have to inform them regarding any important update on your loan application or disbursement queries. Apart from that, any of the references are never eligible or liable for any kind of repayment of your loan. Then you can provide the basic details, moving further with the university details. Now we are coming to step 2, which is we would like to understand which master degree you are planning. So here the applicant is going to University of Toronto. He has selected the degree code as masters. Then we would like to understand what is the major he is going to apply for. Is it a STEM degree or not? If it is a dual degree or not, depending on the program, you can submit the same. Then this is a very important step which we would like to understand whether your program is on campus, online, hybrid. Now, I'll take 2 minutes here to give you a brief understanding about these three options and to clear all your doubts if you have any regarding what does that online and on campus or hybrid means. Now, one of the most important part you guys need to understand here is that before MPOWER can give you any kind of loan, or let's just say your application is being considered, you have given an approval and everything is in your favor, but we will only disburse your loan if you have an verified visa available with you. Now, if you are going to US or Canada, we would seek the relevant visas from you before we can proceed further with the disbursement. Now, why I'm telling you this point, because what I'm going to explain you now is going to be relatable to this information. Now, visa is very important. Before we do not get any kind of visa, we won't be able to disburse the loan. Now, if you are on campus, meaning you are studying in the school at the university in US or Canada, then definitely being an international student, you would have your visa, only then you can commence on campus. If your program is online, now this is something we need to understand is that let's just say you are already in US or Canada, and now you are commencing a program which is giving you an option to pursue your program online, and you do not need to go to a university on a regular basis. Now, this program will be considered as eligible because in that case, you will still have your US visa or Canadian visa. But if you are at your home country and you get an opportunity to study your program online, meaning you would not need to apply for any kind of visa since you are not planning to travel to US or Canada, in that case, the online program would not be eligible. Similar goes to hybrid. So for example, if your program is starting with your home country, or let's just say your program is a hybrid program where the first year you need to do your education online and the second year you would be doing it on campus. So even if you are an eligible student, you would not be considered for the loan because your first year is going to be from your home country since you would not have your visa available. When you are planning to go to US, in that situation, we would be able to assist you because in second year, you would be applying for your Canadian or US visa. Then again, we would be asking you regarding your expected graduation date and the program start date. If you see that initially there is any error you would like to change, you can make those changes here. Now, we would need to select the graduation level according to the program and the term you are applying for. Followed by, you would need to inform us whether your program is a full-time, half-time, or part-time program, and if you have studied in US or Canada in past or not. Then sometimes you have to go through certain standardized tests or exams to be deemed eligible for any of the university you're planning for. So if you have given any kind of language test or standardized test like GRE, GMAT, MCAT, then definitely provide us those scores that really help us to stronger your application. Similarly, if you have given any kind of language test, do provide us those details. In case if these tests and exams are being waived, then you do not have to worry. You can select that particular option and proceed further. Now, here are certain examples of the applicant where he has provided us his GRE and the TOEFL exam scores. Then we come to the step 3, which is regarding your employment. Now, this is also another important information for all those students who have worked in past or are currently employed. If you do not have any kind of employment history, you can simply select the option 3 and proceed further with the loan application. And if you have any kind of employment history or you are currently employed, then select the relevant information, where further you will need to provide us the details of your employer so that we can review your application accordingly. One thing to understand here is that if you have no employment history, it does not, impact your application in a negative way. So it's absolutely fine. I am an international student. I may not be working in past, and I'm pursuing my education so that I can study better and then, find the right opportunity. So it's absolutely fine if you do not have any employment history. You can simply select the third option and proceed further. Now, here the example shows that if the person is selected yes, they have experience, then we would like to understand how many years of relevant experiences they have. Now, one more important point why we ask these details is that this is really important when we are reviewing any applications which is related to a certification program. So there are certificate programs that we may be able to consider, but it depends on case by case. Now, if you are pursuing any kind of certificate who does not hold any kind of relevance to your previous education or working history, then you may be seem to be ineligible for those certificates. So depending on those informations, so that's why it is very critical when you are having those experiences, do provide us one. The final thing after that, I'll simply skip this part so that it's just regarding employment history. And if you have any kind of job offer already available on your pocket, you can provide us those details. That's really great if you have a pre-job offer available with you. Then let's come to the part where we are going to talk about numbers, which is your financial details. Now, we would like to understand what is going to be your estimated tuition cost for 1 year. Now, when we are speaking about tuition cost, we are including costs like book and supplies and other costs that are required within the tuition requirements. Now, you will need to provide us what is your estimated cost for 1 year. Now, one thing to understand that we have built a system which automatically calculates your total requirement according to the term you have applied for. So if you're applying for 2 years, the system will automatically multiply whatever you have selected for 1 year into 2. If you are applying or if your program is completing in 1.5 years, the system will automatically calculate whatever you have provided here into 1.5 and vice versa. So let's move further. Here you can see that applicant has provided a couple of details regarding the sponsorship and personal informations. Now, what you need to understand here is that it's really important for you to provide whatever funding sources you have available while you are applying for a loan application. Now, I'll tell you why it is important, is that let's consider this or understand it as per one example. Now, assuming that your tuition requirement is around 80,000. Now, this 80,000 includes all your living expenses, your books and supplies, and your education fees. Now, you are applying for an MPOWER loan. Now, let's assume here that you require 80,000, but MPOWER can only assist you with $40,000. That's what we can help you after reviewing your application. Now, consider this as an example. Now, what happens is that if you do not have any other source of funding, even if MPOWER is able to consider you for a slight lower amount or any kind of amount, we may not be able to provide you an approval decision or a loan decision in your favor because you are being lack in funding. Now, what I mean by that is that even if you get 40,000 from MPOWER, you still require another 40,000, which is not available in your funding sources, which means you would neither get a visa or you would not even get an I-20 in that circumstances. So, to give you an opportunity well in advance, we would like to understand that if you have any kind of funding available. Now, what kind of fundings are these? If you have any kind of personal saving, which is in your bank account, is the only amount that is considered as personal saving. Now, you need to provide us a proof, which is within 90 days that you have that relevant fund in the bank statement, which you have mentioned under personal saving. Now, if you have a family member who is supporting you, then we would require you to provide the amount that he is going to support you with, along with the ID and the bank statement of that particular person. Same thing applies if you have a sponsor. We would like to know the sponsorship letter or the scholarship letter if you have available from the university. So similarly, regarding the details, you can keep on providing us those. So here the applicant selected that his program is for 2 years, his cost is $100,000, and there is no additional funding he has available. Now, the gap, what you see here is 100,000. Now, what I gave an example earlier, this is the same situation. The applicant needs $100,000. He have zero funding available, meaning the entire 100,000 considered as a gap. Now, you can request the loan amount of $100,000 or $50,000 or whatever amount you feel that you would like for your education. Now, one thing to understand is that if you're applying for only one semester, which is fall 25, or you are applying for spring 25 or summer 25, in that situation, you can apply for a maximum loan amount of 50,000. So $50,000 is the maximum limit for one semester. If you are applying for an AY, meaning you are applying for an academic year, which is 2 semesters, then you can request a maximum loan amount of $100,000. Currently, $100,000 is also being the lifetime limit of your loan application. Now, if you have any existing debt, meaning you are going with an additional student loan, if you are having any existing personal loans or any kind of education loan, please do not forget to provide those details. We would also require the relevant documents to verify the same. Now, once these are done, then we would ask you to give us your consent regarding the Truth and Lending Act disclosure and followed by the credit report authorizations. Now, at MPOWER, we definitely go through your credit history. If you are coming from any of the countries like India, Kenya, Ghana, and even rest of the countries as well. Now, why it is important is that it helps us to understand your repayment behavior as a borrower. Now, if you do not have any kind of credit history available, it's absolutely fine. It does not have any negative impact on your application. But if you do have a credit history, we would definitely like to go through it and understand how you have been as a borrower. So you would need to provide us those authorizations before we can proceed further. Now, once it is done, this is the final step where we are giving you an permission to go back and edit if you feel that there are some of the informations which you might have made any mistake. You can definitely go to any of the sections and edit it here. Once that is done, your application is being submitted, and then you will see the similar status on your screen. Further down, we would ask you to provide us the term you are planning to apply for, followed by the loan amount you're requesting. And then the last step comes is uploading your passport. So we always recommend to the international students that do provide us with your passport because it helps us to verify a lot of details, including your address if it is already available in the same. Now, once these are steps, then your application is being submitted. That's all from my side, Sagar.
Surabir, I would like to add a follow-up question based on what you just presented. Is what are some of the most common mistakes that our applicants make, and what are some of the best ways to avoid it?
So the recently what we are seeing in common mistakes is regarding providing the financial details. So the reason why we are saying this is that if you are providing us any kind of financial information, do keep in mind that you need to provide us the proof to verify the same. So if you provide us any kind of financial information and you do not have the relevant documents, that will be considered as null and void, and we would be reviewing your application without considering that those funds were never with you. Another mistake that we have observed is regarding the home country address. So if you are providing us your home country address details, do provide us with a relevant document that verify the same. So as I stated while we were talking about the documents, is that if you do not live or you do not have any kind of document under your name for the specific address you are residing in, and for example, if you're staying with your parents, then you can do provide us your parent documents like any kind of bank statement, utility bill that confirms the address along with the valid ID and the relationship declaration proof of these three important documents for verifying the address. Uh, Third, a detail and recently that we have observed the third biggest mistake, and why I'm saying this is the biggest mistake because rest two errors is something that we can rectify easily and we can help the applicant with. The third mistake is selecting a wrong term when you are applying for a loan application. Now, what I mean by this is that if you know that your program is starting in fall 25, do not apply for spring 25. And if you know that you need fund for spring 25, do not apply for fall 25 to spring 26 AY. Now, why I'm saying this is that what happens is that we complete the entire review process. We give you the loan decision, but when we give you the loan decision, that loan is not valid for you because you have not selected the right term. And then it's a very long process to go back and change your terms and provide you the updated documentation. Sometimes it is not even feasible for us to provide you those documents which you even require. So it's always recommend to review the term that you're applying for so that there is no error once you have been decisioned.
Understood. So quickly reiterating what Surabhi just mentioned, make sure that you add the correct financial details, what you need, and you have a proof for everything that you add in the application. Second, in terms of country address, it's always better to have it on your own name. If you do not have it on your own name, if it's someone else's name, do add a relationship declaration form along with it. And then third, just ensure that you have the right term. So if you're going for fall, please make sure that you are applying for a fall instead of a spring or any other loan period. So thank you, Suravi, for sharing that. Second question for you, Renuka. What are some of the most common reasons why people are declined for an empowered loan?
Okay. So basically it will cover the eligibility checks. So to mention few is your course duration should be within 2 years or 24 months. I saw the questions which were mentioning for bachelors. We do fund bachelors, we do certifications online provided your course duration, and there are some criterias left to that online certification, but your course duration should be within 2 years. The second could be like the university have minimum credit CGPA requirement, your score requirement. We do have our internal checks. So your academic standing, if it is insufficient, you might get a decline letter based on that. Also, max funding. I think Sudhavir had taken that a very good explanation of making them understand what is the gap issue. If we are able to you're requesting 80, we can only fund 40. We give you a chance. We do not straight away decline. We just give you a chance to provide us the maximum funds available with you. Make sure those are valid. When I say valid, it should be within 3 months or 90 days. So if you state funds, you don't give us the funding documents, there are chances the application might go for a decline. It's not a mandatory to have funds, but try giving the maximum fundings available from your side. It could be in the form of your personal savings, your parents' savings, or their earnings. We could just convert it internally and understand the funds available with you, which can be liquidated. Also, when you're suppose if you're enrolled in certification and online, we have internal guidelines. Also, we check your visa standing in US. So only if these criteria are fulfilled, you will obviously get an approval. But if not, there is also a decline happening on those criteria. Also, incomplete application, like Surya mentioned, if you stated some debt and you're not providing any document, internally we try to provide and standardize the process, but we still need to understand that we do not want to penalize and charge higher rate of interest in term for the students. So we give a chance, provide us the debt history details, latest documents, so you get a maximum approval from us. And next is your program is too expensive. Right now, the limit is 100,000 USD dollars. So if it is more than that, we do give chance, provide us the maximum funds and scholarship you have from schools. But if you don't, then it might lead to a decline. But we try, and also if these reasons were declined, and anyone there in the call, if you were declined for these and you really want to have a more one-on-one conversation, please reach out to our support team. We can try to mitigate and understand your concerns, and then obviously we can understand more detail how those can be mitigated. So yeah, these were the most probable reason we see for decline.
Cool. And thank you for sharing that. And just to add to it, if you were or if you have been declined for an empowered loan, you can reapply after a window of 90 days. Am I correct?
Yes.
Cool. Thanks. So one more question, and then I guess we are almost at the end of our time today. So are personal savings mandatory to apply for an empowered loan?
So I'll take that question, Sagar. So see, what we are trying to make sure is that you are providing us the most suitable and relevant fundings available with you. Now try to understand it as per the visa prospect as well. Do not consider just for the loan. Now, if you are applying for US visa or Canadian visa, they do ask the proofs of funds that you have to complete your education there. If you do not have relevant fundings, your visa will never get approved. So you need to make sure that you do not have too much of that in your proof of funding so that it becomes too risky for your visa selection process. So when you are thinking about education, always try to see that the ratio about your education requirement should always be 50% personal expenses or personal saving, and 50% can be something which can be considered as debt. For example, Empower loan. Now, if you do not have any kind of personal saving or any kind of support from anywhere, and you're just taking an entire thing over a credit, which is a loan, that it becomes difficult for your education and even for your future, because then you would be under a huge debt. Now, we are not saying that if you do not have anything in personal saving, stop thinking about your education. No, that's not what I meant. You can always apply, and it is always dependent to case basis. But I'm just talking about the fact and figures which are in actual in nature. So the most probability depends again on your program that you are going through, the school you are applying for. If you have a scholarship, that really makes a huge impact when we are reviewing your application, even as per the visa perspective. So if you have anything that can really help you in terms of your strengthening your application, do provide us those funds, because it really helps us and makes your application stronger.
Understood. Cool. And so next question, which is I'll ask both of you, both Renuka and Surya, is what is the one tip that you'd like to give all international students and all the one, like everyone who's on this call today? What would be that tip? And we can start with you, Renuka.
Stay flexible, open-minded, be it your admission letter process, your loan application, or your visa application, and make sure you keep them consecutive. In this process, all your documents which you are submitting are within the limit or the validity. If I say, it will be within the limit of 3 to 6 months. So in that case, you don't have to do a back forward and get the documents again, reprint it, or get it signed from your parents if you're declaring their funds. So this way, this journey is totally your investment, and you learn a lot. Be positive and obviously stay dedicated.
Thank you. And over to you, Surya.
Tip from my side would be always have good connects. Try to speak with your buddies, your friends, your counselors, your mentors, and try to diversify your thoughts about your education as much as you can, because it's not what we are trying to do here is not providing you an opportunity to go to US or Canada just for just for being there. So you are planning your education. That means that you are planning something huge for your life, and it becomes even bigger when you are going with a credit on your head. So it's always important to understand that what is something which is flexible for you, and always, keep all the windows or gates open for any kind of support that is coming to your way, because as I said, that though we are a loan company, we are providing you an education loan, but do remember that this is something that you would need to repay us back, right? So when it comes to huge payments, then we don't want to burden you as well. So as I said, always keep the ratio about 60-40, so that 60 is your personal saving, 40 is the loan. That will help you to even complete your education on time and with a lower debt on your name.
Super. And I would like to give additional homework to everyone here. So please, once we end this webinar, and whenever you have time after this, whichever school you're planning to attend, uh, please make sure that you connect with some students who have graduated from that school and from the course that you plan to attend. Connect with those people on LinkedIn, Instagram, wherever you find them. Do not spam them, but try to connect with them with a genuine question. And make sure that you get you connect with as many people as possible. What that'll do is give you the on-ground reality, and it will help you get answers to a lot of questions that you might have regarding the international student journey. So please make sure that you connect with as many alumni as possible, and that would be my tip. And on that note, we'll now end our session today. Thank you for joining us.